We're here right now on Seagirt Avenue. We're about to go inside to visit a family that was seen by FEMA Rapid Repairs. Their house was deemed um, uninhabitable, exactly the word that they had given them, because of the water damage that created mold and an unhealthy condition for living. So we're going in right now. It's a family of 7. They have a 1-year-old pair of twins, an 8-year-old, a 10-year-old, and an 11-year-old. The 10-year-old has a broken leg, and so they're living here. They just got their power back, but they have no heat. And you're going to see the living conditions in which they are in, and the fact that they have to be boiling water to just live and shower, and the fact that the way you're going to see some of the ways in which they're living. So we want to just take you inside the home and let you see the family and get to hear from them what's going on. All right, so I'm here with Mr. Vern. We just found out that his family is here, living in a home that they have mold, they have no heat, they just got their power. And during all of this, they had a FEMA representative come in to do an assessment. When they did the assessment, even the FEMA representative said that the house was in a bad condition, that they couldn't stay here. Even went as far as use the bathroom and then left them. No follow-up, nothing since then. So Mr. Vern, thank you. But can you just tell us exactly what happened with your FEMA application? I know you said they had denied you.
Yes, the FEMA application was denied based on pretty much the information I would believe the rep put into his computer. Because when he got here, he also said that the house is not livable.
He said that?
Yes, he looked, he said the floors gotta come out, the walls gotta come out. The floors with hardwood parquet floors that was soaking wet with all the dirty water and stuff that was still on the floors. And he told us, he said, this is not in good livable condition. So we went on his word. He put in his paperwork, and within 2 weeks later, we got the denial notice. But within that time, I took some time off from work to start, remove all the sheetrock and all the flooring, which had a lot of mold. So as you can see, you take footage and you can see that the walls are gutted, and the floors, all the parquet floors has been removed, which I have pictures to show that there were mold.
Right. You took your pictures
I
before.
took my pictures before, and I took my pictures after. So I have footage and all of this work that I've done inside my house to try to make it.
You see right there, you can see little kind of spores. The spores on the wall right there.
Spores on the wall still.
Yeah, so we can see some of that. Yeah.
My thing is that I have to get behind the kitchen counter and everything have to come out so that sheetrock can be removed and be replaced.
Right.
So there's still an ongoing process of removing stuff in here, but at the same time, this is where I live, and I'm trying to make it as safe as possible for the family.
So tell us about the family structure. How many people here? How the children, breakdown of the children?
There are 5 kids, range from age 11, 10, 9, and the twins that are 1 year old. And the twins seem like they're having it the hardest with the adjusting of the different temperatures in the house before we got electricity and, enough. The way we survive now by taking bath, we have to boil water. That's what we have to do. We have to boil the water because the hot water heater was destroyed in the flood, the water that came into the building. So that's destroyed. There's no hot water heater in the building. It's only because we got electricity now we could run our central air unit.
So when did you get power?
We got power last week. I believe last week Friday we got power. I was able to get an electrician to come out and look at the box and give LIPER the necessary paperwork to get the electricity back on. Until then, it was just crazy trying to survive out here in the cold.
Right. I mean, especially with the children, with the young children, and exposure to the mold and the dust and all that from it.
Yes.
How much water came in here?
The water had to be over a foot. It was over a foot that came into the apartment, and pretty much
you're above, a little bit above, the ground.
Exactly.
Coming up, so down to the stairway area that was flooded.
Right.
Coming in here.
Right.
So you had about
over 6 feet.
6 feet of water.
Yes,
right.
over 6 feet of water that came in from outside on the street level. And yeah,
Can I see the letter? I mean, from FEMA?
yes.
Alright, so this is your FEMA letter,
Yes.
dated 11/11/2012. We recognize this is a difficult time for you and your family and understand many people need help following a disaster. We are committed to providing you any help we can, including important information to begin your recovery. The Federal Emergency Management Agency and the State of New York have carefully considered all available information regarding your request for assistance. Our decision regarding your request is explained below. Categories: housing assistance, ineligible, insufficient damage, personal property, insured. So they denied you because they're saying that there was insufficient damage. I wonder what they would consider to be sufficient damage. Now, I don't know how this translates into the person coming to you,
Right.
assessing the house,
Right.
and saying that this is an unhealthy condition,
Exactly.
and then you getting a letter
Letter.
saying it's insufficient damage.
Exactly.
So I guess the damage to the house is insufficient,
Insufficient, right?
but the damage to you and the family is okay with them as
Okay
well.
with them, yeah.
So this is not about the health and well-being of a family. This is about the infrastructure, the house only.
Yeah.
So to hell with you and the children.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's basically what this says.
You know.
Because nothing on here talks about health and well-being. It talks about housing assistance. It talks about personal property. There should be an option on here that says health and well-being,
Exactly.
which should then say critical,
Exactly.
approved.
Because
You know?
we all know, especially in the state of New York, in a condition like this, I mean, children's services won't hesitate to come and take your kids
True.
from being in a condition like this. So why is FEMA allowing this to be this way, who are federal? You have federal agencies, state agencies, allowing people to live in this kind of condition, and it hurts. But more people need to speak out. You need to get around to more people. There are a lot of people that are suffering around here.
But it's funny that you say that because you brought up a very good point. Because in all honesty, you're right. See, ACS will come in and take your children away from you for not taking care of the child,
Yeah.
and not realizing that the environment that you're living is not conducive for the child. They'll not help you with the resources,
Exactly.
but they're willing to take the child.
Yeah.
Now, if they were to come in here and they were going to say, oh my God, we look at all this damage and this is not healthy for a child, they're not saying let's move the family and help the family.
No.
They're saying the child is at risk, so we're
Right.
going to take the child.
Yeah, and probably want to lock up the parents for that. But meanwhile, we had, FEMA reps that came in, did an assessment.
There are many issues that we find with this, and this is one of the reasons why I personally go door to door throughout the community and just knock on doors to try to find out what's going on. It's not just saying, hey, how are you doing? It's saying, hey, do you guys need anything? Let me see the environment. If you have damage, let me see what kind of damage.
Exactly.
Because damage goes in different ways, okay? You may say, oh, it's okay, I got a little bit of flooding and, it's just wet. Okay, but I come in and I'm going to be like, that flooding is going to lead to this, that, and the other.
Exactly.
That flooding, maybe if it stays for a week or two, could be mold. Or that little mark that you're seeing on that wall is actually mold.
Exactly.
That could be a bigger problem.
Yeah, once it spores disperse into the air, then it gets into other places and start to grow.
Right.
I mean, you see that I left the insulation in to the fact to try to keep a little warm in the house. But that insulation, a lot of it is soaking wet. Has
Right.
to be
You
removed.
can still see the moisture.
Yeah, the moisture is inside of it that has to be removed. Inside and outside, under in the crawl space, all the insulation is soaking wet. So I just kept it up just to keep a little heat warm in the house, which is doing but not doing enough.
Right.
Without the sheetrock and the proper tools and stuff, I could do the work and get it done. I have friends that are willing to come and help me do the work and get my house back together, but there's no money coming in at the time. There's no money.
So you had to take time off your job. You're
Yeah.
not working. You're not being paid.
I'm not being paid for the time that I take off.
And FEMA comes in and sees this problem and just walks away and leaves you with all this problem.
Yeah, that's what they did.